Bobby Manley. I'm writing this letter because I believe my voice needs to be heard. I would like to thank the prosecuting attorneys and the jury for their time. I'm Dana's baby sister, the aunt of Frankie, Hannah, and Chris Jr. I'm here speaking on behalf of them and the other lives that you took from us. I have many feelings, but the strong one is grief. On April 22nd, 2016, you changed my life and many other lives. You came like thieves in the night and took my family from us. It is not fair what you did. There is no real explanation what you did or why. Since that day, you have shown no remorse. You have sat there and laughed, smirked, and mocked my family, all while lying and saying that you had nothing to do with it. You're a coward, and you're not worth oxygen you're wasting right now. Sadly, with the death penalty off the table, I can only hope that they lock you up for the rest of your miserable life. I can't believe you have the audacity to sit there and act like you didn't do this. It disgusts me that you're allowed to exist. It disgusts me that you're allowed to breathe the same air that I am breathing. That's enough about you, because this day is not about you. This day is about my family and the people you have hurt and traumatized. This day is about Chris Jr., who was only 16 years old, and because of you and your family, he will forever be 16 years old. Today is about Hannah Mae, who is only 19 years old. Frankie and Hannah Gilly, who will never get to watch their children grow up, but neither will you. Your child will remember nothing about you except that you're a monster and a murderer. They were just babies and had hardly started their lives. Now, we will never know who they may have become. This day isn't about you. This day is about my sister, Dana Roden, and getting justice for her and her family. You only murdered Chris Roden and Gary Roden and Kenneth Roden because you are a coward and you know they would retaliate. They were all completely innocent and hadn't done anything to you or your family. There's a special place in hell for you and your entire family. I hope your life is long and miserable. I hope you think of my family and what you have done every day for the rest of your miserable existence.
Ms. Curtis, now we have to see from Ruth Roden.
Ruth Roden, victim impact statement. I would like you to know that you killed more than 8 people. Kenny, Gary's father, literally grieved himself to death over the murder of his son and the others in the family. Gary was a good-hearted person and he would give you the shirt off of his back. He never missed his father's birthday or mine. He made it to every holiday. I truly feel that you did so much more of these crimes and that you're just not admitting to them. Today, December 19th, is Gary's birthday. He would have been 45 years old. I ask for justice for Gary and the other members in this family. Thank you.
My name's Kayla, and I am the niece to Chris, Kenneth, and Dana, and a cousin to Gary, Hannah Mae, Hannah Hazel, Frankie, and little Christopher. This is not a victim impact statement for myself or the rest of my family. This is a plea that you sentence this man to the maximum penalty for all charges. George may not have shot anyone as it was told or in an attempt to lessen his role, but he was still there with the intent to kill at least one victim. He helped plan this, he helped in executing it, and then he helped in trying to cover it up. He helped hand a death sentence to all 8 victims, and then he helped, but Your Honor, this isn't just about these 8 victims whose lives were taken. This is also about 4 children. 4 children whose lives were torn apart because of this man and his actions. Brentley must live with the fact that he woke up to find his daddy and soon-to-be stepmommy dead. He had to see his baby brother covered in blood. We don't know what would have happened had he woke up while 3 men were in his home. And we thank God every day that he didn't. But Brentley at least has his mommy, who can be both parents. but he will forever have a part of him that will never heal from this because he will never have his father or his close family again. Ruger will never know what it was like to have both parents, and he was so young that he will never remember them or remember the love that they had for him. That's the same for Kylie. She will never know her mother's love or the possibility of having a father who chose to be that to her. Lastly, Sophia must grow up living with the fact that not only was her family murdered, but they were murdered supposedly because of her, and that it was her father and his family who had done it. See, all of us in the Rodin family and Gilly families try to make life as normal as we can for them, and we try to show them that they are loved. So I ask you, Your Honor, to please sentence this man to the maximum penalty possible, because he sentenced 8 people to death and 4 children to a life sentence of pain and suffering. He does not deserve freedom outside the walls of the prison cell. Thank you.
I'm Lisa, Chris and Kenneth's niece. Thank you, Your Honor, for allowing me to speak on behalf of my family today. I will continue to be their voice and will be relentless in making sure justice is served. I am not only here to make an impact, but to appeal to you, Your Honor, to give George Wagner life without the possibility of parole. Growing up, our parents tell us monsters do not exist, but I had come to know that as a lie in my adult life. Make no mistake about it, George. You want to betray an innocent act and act like you were distant from your family, but the hard truth is, you are one and the same. The same heartless monster who helped brutally murder 8 people and never once backed out or reached out to stop this cruel act before it happened. It's hard to truly convey the impact of something of this magnitude. There are so many moments that have made an impact on me greatly over the last 8 years, 6 years, sorry. But a few of those moments are very painful moments that I will forever remember vividly. Going into a funeral home and seeing 8 caskets lying along the wall of our loved ones, walking into that room with my family, hearing the screams from my mothers, my aunt, and my uncles while trying to hold them up because their legs gave away. I think everyone in that room felt the pain, would have done anything to take it away. That night, when it came time to say our final goodbyes and close the caskets, I'm sure our screams and sobs were heard from outside. As we had to be pulled away from that room, my grandmother, bearing 2 children and 3 grandchildren, no one should ever have that burden and pain. 6 years and 8 months later, we still have these unbearable moments where we feel like we could just break, knowing the callous way they were taken from us. If this is not enough to convince someone George is a cold-hearted monster who deserves to never leave prison, he stood outside my 16-year-old cousin's door, waiting for his brother to go in and assassinate my little cousin. Little Chris went to bed on April 21st to get ready for school the next day, and he would never wake again. He would never wake again. This cold-hearted, barbaric man who said Hannah Mae was a baby sister stood by while his brother went into her room and murdered her while her newborn baby girl lay beside her. He stood in my cousin Frankie's trailer again, supposedly his friend, while his brother slaughtered my cousin and his fiancée, while their baby lay between them. And Frankie's little boy lay sleeping on the couch. His son, who was 3 at the time, would be the one who would go into Frankie's room to see his daddy and his daddy's fiance covered in blood. And they wouldn't wake up. This is a scene of utter devastation that no one should ever have to witness, let alone a 3-year-old child. 4 children without parents, 3 parents who are forever missing birthdays, holidays, and milestones with their children. Ruger, who is without both parents. Was too young to know how much he was really loved by his parents. Kylie, you will never get to experience her mother's love. Brentley, who deserved his father's guidance and love throughout his life. Sophia, who would not only lose her mommy on April 22nd, but she lost all of her immediate family. And then on November the 13th, 2018, she lost her dad's side of her immediate family. Regardless of the monsters they are, she still had a bond. The devastation and impact will forever weigh heavy on her for the rest of her life. I've tried to wrap my head around why my family was given death sentences, but nothing will justify the why. My cousin, Hannah Mae, was given a death sentence because she was a strong-willed mother who wanted to raise her daughter and continue to grow her family outside the Wagner's control. My cousin Gary, Hannah Hazel, little Chris, and my Aunt Nina was given a death sentence for just simply being there. My cousin Frankie, my Uncle Chris, and my Uncle Kenneth were given a death sentence for being the protectors of our family. It's sickening to think this is what caused the tragic loss of 8 people. George Wagner made a decision, and as a result of his actions, 8 lives were senselessly lost. He is just as guilty and should be held just as accountable. He is just the coward who made our family sit through a horrific trial when he knows the devastation that he helped create. No amount of justice given in this court will come close to what is deserved. But this man deserves nothing less than to spend the rest of his life in prison. This man and his family has confined our family to our own personal hell that we have to fight to get through every day. So it's only just that George is confined to a prison cell for the rest of his life. George, I hope that my family haunts your dreams at night just like they do ours. I also hope there are days where you miss your family and son so much you literally feel like you could die from the pain, because that is what our family deals with. I pray, George, that this court and the prison you are sent to show you the same mercy that you showed my family. The day you take your last breath, you will face your Maker, and I pray they have no mercy on your soul. But on that day, I will finally have a little bit of peace.
My name is Tony Roden. I come here today to talk about my family and the memories that I have of them. First of all, I would like to thank the court and the state of Ohio for giving me the opportunity to do so as a victim. I lost 2 brothers, Chris Roden Sr., Kenneth Roden. I also lost a niece, Hannah Roden. I also lost 2 nephews, Frankie Roden, Chris Roden Jr. I also lost a cousin, Gary Roden. I also lost a sister-in-law, Dana Roden Manley. I also lost my nephew Frankie's fiancée, Hannah Hazel Gill. My brother Chris, my mom's son, as a boy, he He always had a lot of questions, just about things like, Tony, why does the chicken have 2 legs? Or Tony, why does the water flow that way? He loved playing in the creek. When in the creek, we would get up, Chris and I, and my